Hello and welcome to a new episode of the GHOULIsh podcast. I am Max Booth, an undead host, and on today's episode of the podcast, I am talking to Michael David Wilson of the This Is Who podcast. We're talking about his upcoming novel, Daddy's Boy. I almost said Say Daddy. That's not the name of his book. It's Daddy's Boy. I almost said that because through my own small press, Ghoulish Books, we're preparing to release Ryan Bradley's Say Uncle, which is a pretty good book. Both Say Uncle and Daddy's Boy will kind of idyllic comedies, and it's kind of funny that both of them are coming out so close together, and also, I don't know, feature a family status name. What do you call it? What do you call like an uncle or like a daddy? A daddy. Ugh, I don't like this intro already, but I'm not recording it twice. This is a fun episode. I know you can tell by the status of my voice. It's a fun episode. Just believe me, you're gonna laugh a lot. Okay, I wouldn't lie to you. I've been sick in the head, but also in the body. That's why we didn't have an episode last week. I had some type of thing going on with my meat sack of a body, but I'm doing okay now. I'm recording this intro the same day the podcast is going live, April 15th. It is my wedding anniversary, 2 years. Yeah, don't all clap at once. Do you applaud for the anniversary? What do you do? I don't know. I don't know if you do anything. It's not that big of a deal. Oh, wow. You got married in the past, and you're still doing that. Congratulations, I guess. It doesn't affect any of you. It affects me somewhat, but that's okay. What else? If you are local to San Antonio, this is not the only anniversary going on. On April 26th, we will doing the celebrating the 2-year anniversary of the bookshop. So come on down to Ghoulish Books in Selma, which is just outside of San Antonio, kind of on the edge of San Antonio. All day long, we'll be doing discounts and fun activities. We're going to have some people come down, do some live readings, sign some books. We will end the night with a movie, a free movie that will remain a surprise until showtime. It'll also serve as kind of the book launch for Say Uncle by Ryan Bradley, since it comes out officially on the 29th of April. Yeah. We kind of, when we got married, it was pretty odd. Not odd, it was hectic, I would say, because all, like in the same week, maybe the same 2-week period, we did the Ghoulish Book Fest. We got married at the Book Fest, and then we opened a bookshop. It was madness. March and April were pretty chaotic months in our lives specifically. Maybe other people's lives too. I don't know. I don't know you guys. And honestly, you don't know me. I could be lying about all of this. I might not even have a bookshop. I might not even be married. This might be an AI configuration of what Max Booth would say. You know what I mean? I don't know, guys. I don't think I have anything else exciting to say. Listen to the podcast. Enjoy yourself. Have a fantastic week. And, remember, live spooky and die spooky. Most importantly, die. Die spooky. The thing I love about doing this podcast, talking to you on my podcast, is I've been on your podcast a lot, and I always get some pretty good jokes in, and you always remove them But with this, I'm the one who removes things. It decides not to remove things. So anything we talk about, it's going to stay most likely, which I love. I mean,
Well, there you go.
it
That is
sucks
the
that
power.
I clicked Recoiled Be Filled after you had finished that racist rant, but that would have been great content for the podcast.
This isn't true, listeners. It wouldn't have made great content, and it also didn't happen.
It wouldn't have been great in the long end because it would have meant you selling out and getting a great deal with Spotify, and we would have never talked to you again. So it's probably feel the best. Are you anti
So is this how
Spotify?
we've? Am I anti Spotify? I No, but now I might get cancelled for not being anti Spotify. But I'm also not pro Spotify. A lot of people I know they subscribe to Spotify Premium. I subscribe to Apple Music. So for some people that'll make me even worse. For others, maybe it'll be better. This is
I
not
don't
the
know.
direction I thought this
What
conversation would take, but,
what
but I think
what life principles do you have?
what life principles do I have?
Yeah,
Is this
yeah.
is this related to Spotify
It,
still, or is this
it's
like just
segueing into
completely?
that. Yeah, we'll get to the book in a minute, but I thought we would cover the basics first.
I think it's important to be kind to one another. I think that's a good life principle. I think in terms of creatively, it's a good idea to follow your passion, to be doing the work that really lights you up. Those are two life principles: be kind and follow your creative passions.
Can they even think of three of them? You bankrupt
You
son of a
didn't ask for
bitch.
three of them. You got
It's
bankrupt.
implied. Morally bankrupt. You have no principles. You only have
to be
two.
to be kind and to creatively follow what lights you up is morally bankrupt, apparently.
Most people
Oh
have
my
three. That's all I'm
goodness.
saying.
I I mean, I could come up with three, but you didn't specify a number. I didn't know that any question without a numerical specification had the implicit free principle kind of part of the question baked into it.
At this point, if he came up with a third one, the audience is going to know that it's not real, it's not genuine. You had an opportunity to be truthful. You blew it, buddy. Uh, so you just have to
I
live with
might
that.
make a good politician then.
Oh, why do you say that?
I just thought it was the kind of podcast that we could get political on. As with This Is Horror, we were not allowed to get
I don't
political.
mind political humor, man. If you want to get political, we can go for it. What are your views?
What are my views? Yeah, I don't think that's appropriate in considering. Let's not get political. I've changed my mind already.
Now,
The general idea there baked into the comment was that most politicians are corrupt.
yeah.
How's that for a
Most
view?
politicians don't have three principles. Uh, so now we scheduled this podcast like a week or two ago. It only occurred to me seconds before we began talking that we did not decide on like an episode topic or anything. So I don't know. You do have the mic muted, by the way. Really, embarrassing. You
Yeah,
do this for a living.
yeah,
You'll
as in case I want to clear my throat or something. This is professionalism. When you're talking, you have the mute, you have the mic on,
yeah.
and when you're talking, I take the mic off and put it on mute so that there are no intrusive sounds. Not that I'm suggesting every time someone talks, I start making weird noises, but just in case, mute that mic.
You have a new book coming. You mean you muted it again? How are you going to answer me? How are you going to reply?
because I unmute the mic after
Oh,
you, and I was making a point for you about the muting mic principle, even though for audio listeners, which is everyone, because as you've established, there isn't a video, they wouldn't have seen that. But
yeah.
luckily, you called attention to it.
It's like when you have a conversation with someone and they close their mouth. It's like, oh, is this conversation done? Do I continue talking to them? Have they cut me off? How am I supposed to know this? It's distressing.
So, do you prefer people to keep their mouths open while you're talking to them?
Yeah, I need to look into their teeth just so I know what's going on. If they are smiling or, frowning, I need to know based off of the facial expression what is happening. And if the mouth is closed, there's no expression. So, you have a new book coming
That's
out.
true.
It's called Daddy's Boy. Am I correct?
Yes, you are
I
correct. Yeah.
I almost said Daddy Help Me, but that's not the title. Why don't you tell
No, that's a
the listening
different.
audience? I'm talking. Uh, you tell the
Should have muted the
listening
mic.
uh, the listening audience a little bit about Daddy's Boy.
Yeah. So, I mean, would you like me to read the back cover blurb? That isn't what you asked, but
Yeah,
that
do
could
that.
serve as well.
That's good
Okay.
content. Read it.
Okay. So, this is the back cover blurb for Daddy's Boy. Wentworth is at his wit's end. He has no money, his cat's been kidnapped, and every time he tries to kill himself, he fails. Worst of all, he lives in Kidderminster. But sometimes you're given a lifeline. For some, it's a lottery win. For others, a promotion. For Wentworth, it's an out of shape 50 something named Norman wearing an I was on Naked Attraction t shirt and scuffed Reeboks. Wentworth thinks he's in luck, but makes a series of progressively worse decisions and soon finds himself on the run from a gang of criminal reprobates. The two flee to Norman's holiday home, but there's a local serial killer on the loose. Something messed up is happening next door, and Norman is becoming uncomfortably clingy. Can Wentworth evade the criminal mob, shake off Norman's advances, and uncover his neighbor's secrets before he falls victim to the approaching serial killer? That's the back cover blurb right there. Oh, did you
Yeah.
have your mic muted?
My mouth was closed, buddy. Uh,
Okay, it's
yeah.
difficult to distinguish the two.
What's the name of the town or city this takes place in?
It begins in Kidderminster,
Okay,
and then
yes.
they go, yeah, yeah,
So that's the one I'm talking about. In the back of a blurb, you refer to it like an awful place to live. What is this place? Do you have experience living in this place? Tell me about it.
yeah. Kidderminster is next to the town I grew up in, so I am very well versed in Kidderminster. I lived there for a number of years too, and it's just a kind of grey town in the Midlands,
England.
in England. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
they might not know that. It's good to
yeah.
establish
So
the country.
okay, thank you. So, so it's the grey town in the Midlands in England to establish that, and just that there's like, I mean, I described it as a town of broken dreams, a kind of Brexity town. There's not a lot going on these days, and I mean, back in the 90s, like all of the kind of retail stores that were there, they're just boarded up, they're closed. They've been replaced with betting shops and places like megavalue.com, which is the name of an actual shop. I don't know why a shop needs .com in the name, but there it is.
That's a pretty
And
cool name.
I guess it could be, yeah, megavalue.com. And Kidderminster features in House of Bad Memories as well. I just feel like it's a good place to have as the butt of the joke, which is oh, I can see you picking up on my wording. That okay, you didn't pick up. I let's forget that. So
What do you? No, no,
anyway,
no, no. Shoot, no. Go back. What do you mean? The butt of the joke? Is that what you were referring to? Was I supposed to make a comment because you said butt? Oh, ha ha ha! Funny man said butt. What do you? What do you mean? I'm not a child. People say butt.
okay, let's move on. So
It's good to talk to you again, Michael.
thank you. It's good to talk to you too, Max. So so anyway, that is Kidderminster, a place of despair and hopelessness, and kind of exemplifying all the bad qualities of the UK.
Would you consider this novel and the
You,
last what? What?
I literally didn't say anything, but maybe because I didn't mute my mic, there was some intrusive.
I thought your mouth was open. I'm sorry. Would you
It's
consider
okay.
this novel and the last one, both of them taking place in the same town, in the same universe, or is it a separate entity? How are you visualizing this? How are you thinking about all these books? Are they all together, or what's going on?
I mean, I like to think of them all in as kind of similar world, a similar universe, and I mean, with these two in particular, with House of Bad Memories and Daddy's Boy, I kind of see how House of Bad Memories is the more kind of darker one. So it's a dark thriller with comedic undertones, whereas this is the comedy with dark thriller undertones. So I think they are companion pieces, and yeah, they definitely happen in the same place. There's little references, for example, the landlord in both situations is called Harry. Could it be it's the same person? Is Harry the landlord
Is it?
in House of Bad Memories also? Well, that's for
Uh,
the reader to decide.
Well, but you wrote it though, so what is it?
Oh yeah, yeah, it is.
Oh, okay, cool,
Yeah.
cool.
So that's that mystery gone, isn't it?
Bam. Any other
Yeah.
mysteries I should have you solve right now?
Well, what it this is a terribly pretentious thing to do, but it's me, so that happens. So Mona on Sea, which is where the holiday home is set,
Mhm.
that is where Bob and I, Bob Pastorella, sat there watching, but we only reference the name Mona on Sea in the screenplay, which has not been released at all. So this is a level of pretension, but they say if you can keep yourself entertained, you might entertain the reader.
Let me ask you something.
But
How do you
okay.
define pretension? What about that is pretentious?
I mean, I think like the kind of self-referential nature of it. I don't know. I'm I'm not Lovecraft, although you did accuse me of being a racist at the start, so some might make the
I made
comparison.
no
But
accusations.
okay, this is on the record now. But just like well, I'm not Stephen King. Am I going to list all the people I'm not? So
So
just
what
like
does it mean?
referencing.
So referencing yourself, that makes you pretentious? Like
I
I
don't.
never quite understood exactly what people mean when they describe something as pretentious. Besides, like, I guess, like having a big ego, maybe, and thinking you'll like superior to others. But that doesn't even seem like that's the right thing they mean. So I don't know. I don't know what words mean.
I I guess like a more accurate word would be self-indulgent. I'm literally referencing a thing that has not been publicly mentioned yet, but I would say, in the future, with things being all in the same universe, there may be opportunities to go back to Mona on Sea, at which point, with retrospect, it would then be less self-indulgent.
Okay, I accept that. I like that. You wrote the screenplay of Phil Watching with Bob. Have you been writing other screenplays as well? I know you and I both have the same movie manager. How are things going on that side?
Okay, so I have written another screenplay. I've written the screenplay for my novella, What Would Wesley Do? What Would Wesley Do is currently with a publisher, so I'm waiting to hear back from them. And then I've also got the screenplay of it. In terms of how the screenplay writing and things of that nature are going, that is an interesting and a timely question. And I'm not. So I had a conversation with Ryan recently, and I don't even know. Like, we didn't say not to talk about this publicly, but
It's just a
but
podcast.
also
It's
we didn't.
fine.
It's just a podcast.
Yeah.
So there's a number of things that I've written, like Daddy's Boy, and to a lesser extent, like What Would Wesley Do, that are more towards comedy than, like, the more horror of, let's say, the girl in the video and they're watching. And Ryan doesn't really know how to sell those. He doesn't, he's not in that world. He's more
Hmm.
like connected in the horror world. So at the moment, as I'm writing more comedic things, I'm kind of having this moment of crisis where I've got all these things. I really believe in them. I feel that they are authentically me, but I don't know how to sell them. I don't know where to shop them to. I don't know what to do them to do with them. So
I think that's
I,
probably true, not just for someone like Ryan, but lots of people in film right now, because you don't see too many just like non-genre comedies being made anymore. Once in a blue moon, one will break through, but usually it's a comedic genre movie, a comedic horror movie, comedic science fiction. The age of just like comedy seems to be falling away. I mean, we do get some movies once in a while, like say Bottoms was really good. One of Them Days came out this year. Great comedy, but you don't see them too often these days.
yeah, so at the moment I am, I'm in a period of uncertainty and kind of creative crisis, but I mean, I'm very confident in what I'm doing, and I feel with each book it is getting authentically closer to what I want to do. But the problem is as well, it's shifting further and further away from neatly being in any sort of genre box. I mean, even to the point where it would be harder to sell what I'm doing as a straight comedy because they all get a little bit too fucked up and towards horror or
Right.
violent crime. Um, I I mean, I've came up with a few conclusions, but one is, of course, I should keep doing what is authentically me. That is
Yeah.
one conclusion. I'm currently looking for a literary agent because, like, I've been doing this for so long on my own, and whilst I have contacts, whilst I could do it on my own, I would rather have more of my time back for doing the writing. That's what I want to do. That's what brings me joy. Um, so I'm just thinking about how to go about that. And I mean, at the moment, as I said, I have the novella. Well, novellas typically are not a way to get an agent. I also have a collaborative novel with John Crinan, but again, a collaboration isn't really the way to do it. So I've started working on a new novel, and originally it started off as like a more kind of straight horror Japanese folklore, and it was the nearest thing since they're watching that I've written in that kind of more slow burn supernatural genre. But as I was planning it out, whilst I thought it was a good story, it didn't feel as kind of authentically me in this kind of mode that I'm in at the moment. So then I went back, looked at some of the elements, looked at what it is that I like about what I'm currently doing, like House of Bad Memories and Daddy's Boy, and I've made it into a much pacier piece that is it's a dark thriller and it's got Japanese folklore, but it's just more me. There's the snappy dialogue, there's a little bit of comedy. So I'm pitching that one as a horror story set in Japan, combining the sadism of funny games with the action and unpredictability of From Dusk Till Dawn and the Japanese folklore of The Ring. And that is way more me. I think originally I started writing something that was just more generic, or the express purpose was to get an agent. And it's like, well, if I do that and then I don't like writing it, well, then I've kind of violated the principle of writing things that bring me creative fulfillment. So,
And
yeah,
that
I'm
is your
working.
third principle.
I know. So we got there in the end. We did get there in the end. Finally.
I think what do you think about creative crises with Michael David Wilson for the title of this episode? Sounds pretty good.
It's really what I'm going through at the moment, so it would be apropos for my entire mindset. Like I genuinely don't know what to do other than keep writing and keep writing things that I want to write. And I know that if I had an agent or some sort of advocate, that would be good for me. So the next step is to write the novel that will hopefully get me that agent. But
Are you
again,
are you into the
the
novel yet, or are you still just planning it out?
so I'm very much in the infancy of it. So I'm hoping in the next few months I can get that first draft done. So I've planned it out, and I've literally just started the first few chapters. But
Cool.
if an agent is listening, yeah, I can get you the first 3 chapters. Just
You
it's
think an
in the
agent
bag.
listens to this podcast? That'd be pretty cool.
I, I, I
You,
don't know.
you think
I
anyone
don't
listens
know.
to it? I don't know.
I don't know that either.
I don't
I've
think
no
so.
idea.
I don't think so.
I'll listen back. So if I listen back and I've become an agent, then an
You
agent
can
will
become
be
an agent
listening.
of chaos, buddy.
There you go. Which is not the type of agent I'm looking for. A literary agent or a film agent
Do you
is
have
what I'm looking for.
any concern about how you seem to be going through a preference of comedy, but you host a podcast called This Is Real? Do you think there's like a dilemma with that, perhaps? I mean, that's not the genre you prefer now. You're in the middle of a comedy guy. So are you lying to the audience?
Okay, so you've packed a lot of questions into
Did
that.
I?
You did. So first of all, I'm not lying to the audience. That's the easiest one to get out the way.
Okay, noted.
I'm a huge horror fan, and so everyone who I'm interviewing on This Is Horror, it is because I want to talk to them. It is because I'm interested in what they're doing. I'm not silently thinking, yeah, but could you crack a few more jokes than that, please, Adam Neville?
Every book you read
Where was the
now,
dick
it's
joke in
like,
the ritual?
this isn't funny.
Yeah, yeah, that's my main criticism. So people will notice like horror books have recently, instead of 5 stars, I'm giving them 4 stars for a lack of jokes. No, I don't think that I'm not lying. And much like I'm a death metal fan, but I'm not making death metal. It's like it's okay for me to be a horror fan and not making predominantly horror books. Your expression maybe suggests, is that okay? Yes, of course that's
I
okay.
mean,
Um,
the whole business is kind of a lie. If you look at the website name, you don't live in the UK, bud. What are you doing?
I'm from the UK.
For those listening, this guy lives in Japan. His website is .uk. He says he's not lying to you. He's always lying.
Oh my goodness. When I set up the website, I was living in the UK.
Yeah.
I didn't know that I was going to move to Japan. And I didn't realize that perhaps there was an obligation at the point where I moved to Japan that I needed to transfer to .co.jp.
Is that Stanfield, Japan?
It does, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
That
okay.
is
That
the
would make
the
sense.
standard.
That would be
Yeah.
honest. I can't
I
get
mean,
over
I've got
this. I've known you for like a long time now, and every time I look at you, that's all I think about. It's how
Japan,
you just have a dishonest website name.
dishonest website.
It's you and Bob. Bob lives in Texas,
Well, we've got .com.
but
We've
not
got .com.
.tx
I
Texas.
don't know if is that real? Can you buy
It- you
.tx?
can buy anything if you have the money.
Okay.
Daddy's Boy. Where does the title come from? I mean, I know I've read it, but I want to see you explain it without spoiling it.
Okay, so you're not interested anymore in the dilemma between this is horror and writing comedy. We've moved on
I'll
from
come
that.
back to it. My
Okay.
brain's like a pinball machine, man. Now we'll on something else. We'll see what happens in 5 minutes.
Okay, well it's well it's called Daddy's Boy because there are a lot of relationships between like parents and their sons. And whilst there's a lot of comedy in the book, very overtly it is about navigating parenthood, and it is about the limits that you will go to protect your children, like how much you will kind of condone from your own parents too. So that there are a number of daddy's boys within the text.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Um, I don't have the front cover in front of me, but I've seen it, and it's really detailed and fun and kind of unhinged. You want to talk a little bit about like what that front cover is and what the inspiration was for that design?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. And I'll say with Daddy's Boy as well, to go back to the question that you just asked. I mean, also, I feel that, tonally, it sets what Daddy's Boy is about. You get through both the title and the front cover that, okay, this might be a little bit more light-hearted. This might be a comedy. And so, I mean, back to the front cover.
Mhm.
So that was done by Vinny Chung. And the way that I work with him, it's the same way that I worked with Pi. Before they create the art, they read the entire book, which is not the norm, I believe, with cover artists. But I've got pretty lucky with both of them. And so I had a few ideas, but I said, I was very up for Vinny telling me what his ideas were before I even said any of my own, because I didn't want to influence him. And also, with him being the cover artist and me being the writer, he's probably going to have better ideas. But it turned out that we were both pretty aligned in terms of what we wanted from the cover. So we both thought that it would be good to have the two main characters. So you've got Norman and Wentworth on the front cover. We both wanted like a number of Easter eggs and references to the book. So he also did House of Bad Memories, and with both covers, once you've read the story, you will see how many details that perhaps seem innocuous at first glance are a direct reference to things that happened in the story. Like there's nothing on that cover that is just there by chance. And one thing that I had said is like I wanted it to have like bright, hopefully neon covers, and like pink was a cover that I thought would, or was a color that I thought would very much capture the vibe of Daddy's Boy. So that's why we've gone with the pink and the yellow. And I actually love the way that all four of my covers look next to one another, because you've got the start with the girl in the video, that's very much neon and there's a pink vibe. Then you've got They're Watching and House of Bad Memories, which, you know, are the two darkest and probably least playful books, and they're more understated in greens. And then you've got Whoa, Daddy's Boy, the most comedic with the pink and neon back. So I think, yeah, they certainly complement, you know, the aesthetic and the whole tone of the piece. And I think it is important to have there be a match in terms of the cover and the content. I wanted people to know what they were getting in for, particularly because, I mean, I think the House of Bad Memories, I think that cover is fantastic. But actually, Joe at Cemetery Gates, he said that he thinks that maybe because of the dad with the kind of iconic trilby, there might be people who thought, oh, they were going to get a detective story. So I thought, okay, I really want to like mark that this book is.
And that's a great cover as well. All of your books have great covers. I mean, it shows you have like great attention to detail, and also not just you, but the people you commission to do the front covers as well. With House of Bad Memories, was that something you? I know it was with a different press before going to Cemetery Gates. Was the cover done before it hit Cemetery Gates? I can't recall.
No, the cover was not done before. Um, so it was with a previous press,
Yeah.
and I mean we had some disagreements, basically just to do with, as ridiculous as it is, the formatting of the book.
It's not
Oh my
ridiculous at
goodness.
all.
It's like I don't know if you can hear outside, but today there's a festival in my local town, and some guy just started banging a drum and singing. I think because this is
Are you pranking me?
like no, no, I'm not
Are you
pranking you.
trying to be the real
When
podcast guest?
no, and when I oh, he's playing now, like
A fest at
it's
9
so
a.m. in Japan? I don't believe it.
well, it's happening, and it was
I believe it.
there was preparation at 8 a.m. because, like, I thought they might block the road and make it difficult for me to take my wife to work, but luckily we got past them all anyway.
What's the
But
celebration?
what is it like? I
It's a
don't even.
holiday?
I'm not. It's some sort of fire festival. So like they were like doing so many fireworks last night. Like they set up some this morning. It's like, well, you're not gonna be able to see them, but maybe I don't know, they were testing the fireworks, and they like carry this like mini
Oh,
shrine. It's
yeah. Now I can hear it. It
yeah, he's
just
getting closer. They are getting
Are you
closer.
on the ground floor or what?
I'm on the top floor, but they
Oh, what's the
literally there's
top?
a lot.
2, 3, 5?
Oh, it's only 3,
That's
but
not that impressive.
Well, it's impressive for me. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Do you brag
Um,
about that often? That's as many principles as you need.
it's like I got a top floor apartment, and it's like, yeah, but it's a third floor. It still counts. Still the top.
It would be pretty
No, you.
impressive if like this drum boy bashed through the window right now because he would think, how'd you do that? He's on the top floor.
Yeah, you'd have to really launch, but you never know. Launching Drum Boy
When does this book come out?
comes out on May 6th. And
Oh
I
man.
realized that you asked a question previously, so we were
Did
talking
I?
about you did. We were talking about the cover and whether it had the cover originally. So no, originally it was going to be a novella, and then so we had this disagreement on the layout. I would say that the way that I was advocating is the way that professional book publishers lay out a book. They were saying, no, this is the way that we've always done it. In my opinion, it's like, okay, well, you've always done it the wrong way. If we've always done things the wrong way, should we just continue doing them the wrong way? Or should we do it the right way because somebody has shown us the right way? They felt
Yeah.
we should always do it the wrong way. I thought you should do it the right way. We parted ways. Um,
I never anticipated how many small presses just do not give a damn about nice looking formatting. I guess I've been lucky to have a spouse who's great at doing it. So like in my limited experience with books that I haven't self-published, it's always not always, but often I've had struggles with the publishing houses and just not really taking the time and energy to format a book properly. And I find it kind of sad because like if a book looks like shit, no one's gonna want to read it. Well, if they do read it, it's not gonna be as enjoyable as it would be if it was properly formatted and if it looked clean and nice.
yeah, it's so bizarre to me. And, through my publishing with This Is Horror, if somebody points out actually the way that you're doing it, this isn't the way that professional houses do it, then rather than say, well, I've always done it this way, fuck you, fuck the industry, I'm going to start doing it the right way. I'm always here to learn.
I gotta
But,
be
but
honest.
yeah,
I gotta be honest. If someone said that to me, I think I would say "fuck you." I uh, I don't react well to criticism. Luckily, I do it the right way though, so it's okay.
I don't think you would be like that, but now who am I? I'm saying I know you better than,
You don't
like
know
if
me.
like if they did it in a I don't know you. If they did it in a dickhead way, then obviously, but if they do it in a respectful way and you genuinely have been doing it the wrong way, maybe after your cooling off period. So maybe you do both. You'd be like, okay, initially fuck you, and then
Yeah.
okay, I will do it that
Um,
way, but still fuck
I've
you.
published you in the past, so you can testify. The authors that we publish, they're not allowed to speak to me. They don't get any way to contact us once things are accepted. They just have to just wait for it to pop up online, and then they have to have the friends and family buy copies of it so I can get paid. That's my method of publishing.
Yeah, like there was the contract clause about
Yeah.
having to sell it to at least 100 friends and family. So I remember I wrote to you and Laurie, and I just get this kind of default thing back saying, remember you've signed the thing saying you can't talk to us.
It's an out of
And
office
like
response.
but I hadn't signed it yet. But
Yeah.
it was a weird out of office because every time I replied to try and explain, I haven't signed this, it got more and more aggressive.
I was writing those responses. Yeah, it wasn't automatic. It was me
that
typing.
would that would
Yeah.
explain it because I thought, wow, this is very advanced automation.
Yeah.
I just assumed you were using some sort of AI platform that was pretty knowledgeable on everything.
That brings up a great question. What type of AI did you use with Daddy's Boy?
I did not use AI for Daddy's Boy.
Oh, okay. Noted.
I-
So none.
None.
Oh, was that like a intentional decision you made, or could you not have filled it, or what happened?
What happened?
Yeah.
I just think like I wrote it too quickly and then
Oh.
realized, oh shit, I didn't consult AI.
Well, you probably didn't want to confuse the AI because the AI wouldn't know what genre to stick to. So
Yeah.
it would just shrug and go, I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
You
And
don't want
it's
that to
one thing
happen.
to be rejected by a human, but if you're getting rejected by a robot as well,
Yeah.
it's pretty demoralizing.
So you, after this conversation, were you just pumped up to continue this new novel? Or you just completely inspired to create? Did I help you at all? Is that why we were doing this podcast?
I'm not sure that that's why we were doing this podcast, but I'm definitely going to be working on a new novel after this conversation.
What about
Yeah, maybe now that you've reminded me of AI, me and AI can write it together. That's what you do, isn't it?
no, but I mean, if that's what you do, that's cool. No
For the
judgment.
record, that's not what I do, and there would be a lot of judgment.
This is the
I think
soundbite
like
of
I
the
mean
podcast. Writing with AI with Michael David Wilson.
no, the soundbite says no.
I
It's
don't
not
know
doing
how
that.
to do a soundbite. It's okay. Don't know how to do
Okay.
it. It's not gonna happen. I know podcasts
uh,
do
I
them.
I I think
I don't know.
I've said before though that like I don't think, AI creation is too much of a threat to people putting out original and interesting fiction because if we were to commission AI to do to write a novel, then it's going to be so generic and boilerplate. And I think the stuff that both of us are writing, like they're between genres and they're so unpredictable. So I don't feel threatened by AI because it's just not really doing things that I'm doing anyway. And
Yet.
as Chuck Palahniuk said, I mean, yeah, yeah, as Chuck Palahniuk said, it's kind of the imperfection within the art is what makes it human and makes it soulful.
Oh, is he
Yeah,
pro
there's no
AI?
soul with. This is an anti-AI comment.
Oh, okay. I can't read. I can't understand messages sometimes. I was hit in the
Okay.
brain as a child, with a baseball bat. Speaking of your podcast, what are you up to now?
Okay.
Episode 200 or what?
Well, I think you know that we're over 600 episodes.
It's too many
I think
episodes. Do you have to go back
too
and
many.
listen? Do you have to go back to listen at the beginning to like understand the plot, or like can you just jump
To
in?
make sure that it's like canon and like we haven't
Yeah.
contradicted ourselves. No, I often just keep going and trust that there won't be contradictions. I mean,
What's
there's
the
plenty of contradictions because I'm always, well, not always, but I sometimes change my mind in terms of
right?
what I think on a
Because you don't
particular.
have any principles. You just
Well, we established at the start of the episode I have two principles, and we added a third as we continued, and maybe we added a fourth.
yeah, but that filled one was like a pity principle I gave you just because
It
I
wasn't
felt
a pity
bad.
principle.
It it was a pity
Oh, okay, you
principle.
gave it
Yeah.
to me, so
I did
yeah.
assign it to you, so
Okay.
well, who are some recent guests you've had? Who do you have coming up that you want to talk about that have you excited?
Yeah, so I'm going to be talking to Lena Valencia tomorrow, who wrote the short story collection Mystery Lights, which was one of my favorite short story collections of last year. And we're also going to be talking to Nat Cassidy about his new book. We're going to be talking to CJ Lead. So there's three people.
That's
I'm
three.
assuming because you didn't specify a number, and I'm learning that if it's not specified, three is built into the question.
I mean, you act like this is ridiculous, but it's common practice to give three examples of something when you will ask the question. It's just it's what
I
people
mean,
do.
to reference Chuck Palahniuk again, he says to make your writing more interesting, give two or give four. So
Is
why can't I do that with
is that
questions in
anti
real life?
writing or pro writing?
It's pro right.
I can't. I
Hang
can't.
on, isn't pro writing the name of an AI program? It is. It is for.
So it's pro
It is
writing.
for writing.
I can't
Yeah,
understand what
yeah.
that guy supports. What are his
Supports
principles, do you
good
think?
writing.
Have you ever asked him on the podcast?
I think his principle might be if he listens to this, he's never gonna come on this as horror again. As I
You've
try
had him
and
on enough. It's okay. It's okay.
okay,
You should have other
yeah,
people on.
probably. Well, we do like Lena Valencia, CJ Lead, and Nat Cassidy.
Yeah, it's those three. That's all
Yeah,
you can name.
those. That's all I can name. We recently had Clay McLeod Chapman on the podcast.
That's cool. How
Yeah.
how you feeling about the podcast lately? Still going strong? You still excited about it? You wake up every day like, yeah, I love this, or what?
Yeah, yeah, I love doing it. And I mean, this
It's just you
year
and me. It's just you and me.
in particular,
You can be honest.
I am being
You
honest
okay?
this year. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
And this year in particular, I've said like I only want to interview people where I've absolutely loved their book. So I'm
Ooh,
doing a lot more kind
hold
of
on. Great question.
reading.
Great question. How many episodes have you done where you hated the book and you pretended you didn't like you loved it?
I've never pretended that I loved a book that
Okay.
I didn't love, but generally I talk to people when I've enjoyed their work, but
Yeah.
there'll be times where I'll invite someone on and I haven't read the new book yet.
Mhm.
And I don't think I've ever hated the new book, but there's been times where I haven't quite vibed with it and I booked that guest perhaps prematurely.
Yeah.
But even if the book isn't quite for me. Luckily, it seems if I don't quite connect with something, Bob really likes it, so that's good
So
too.
you
But
guys
also,
have
I can see
contrasting tastes, you and Bob.
we definitely have overlap, but there's definitely things that like he's more inclined to, and I'm less inclined to. I mean,
Who who's the real guest you've had?
I'm not going to answer that.
Oh,
I mean,
you get now it's the tough questions and you freeze up like a clam.
I mean, what do you mean by the worst
The one, the
guest
guy,
I've
the
ever had?
guest you've hated the most, the one you ended
I did.
the podcast and you and Bob were like, God damn, that person sucks. You don't have that? I have that all the time when I do this podcast.
Yeah, you might be having that right now. You're like, Jesus Christ.
Well,
Did I
that's the
invite him
time
on
we
board?
have. Remind everybody again what book you have, when it's coming out, and how they can find it, and how they can find you online. We already know you live in
So,
Japan.
so the book is Daddy's Boy. It's coming out on May 6th. You can add it to your Goodreads. You can pre-order it from thisishorror.co.uk. Uh, and in terms of where you can find me, I am on Blue Sky. That's my favorite one of the social networks these days.
Mine too.
Um, yeah, so on Blue Sky, /this is horror .b. What is
Yeah.
it? .b sky .social. Just look for This Is Horror. You'll find it.
Yeah.
I'm still on X or Twitter, whichever you want to call it. I don't really know why I am. There's very little engagement.
We've already established you have no principles, so that's why.
That's true. So yeah. I'm on Threads as well, but hardly any engagement on that. Like Instagram is probably the second best place, but I don't even post that often on that. And
Yeah.
if you include YouTube as a social media, it's youtube.com / This Is Horror Podcast. And
I
we've got
don't.
video versions. Well, okay, so that's you can edit that answer out
Oh,
then.
believe me, I'm going to.
So, yeah, nobody will be able to see the video versions or know they exist because
So
taking care of that.
is the book already up for pre-order at this moment? Like if I uploaded this next week, is that too soon or do I need to hold off?
You can pre-order it on thisishorror.co.uk and you can pre-order the ebook on Amazon, but you'll probably edit that bit out as you hate Amazon.
Why would I edit this podcast?
I mean, at the start of the conversation, you did proclaim about you having the power now, so I don't even know. You're probably going to edit this all together so that we've got an hour of just me saying how much I am inclined towards AI, and I'm trying not to say that in an obvious
Say that again.
sentence. It's easy for you to no, I won't say that again.
How do
So it's easy
you
for you to get a
question?
soundbite.
Last question. How do
Mhm.
you think this episode went?
How do I think this feels like some sort of job interview? It's like or evaluation. So what do you think? How do you think it went?
Yeah, do you have any questions for me?
I think that it went. I think that it's clear that Ghoulish is still a comedy podcast. You may
Which
be
you
going
love.
back more
You
towards
love.
which I love. So that's great. But yeah, like I mean, I've been on Ghoulish a number of times. You started out as a comedy podcast. I would say some of the episodes got a little bit more serious, but this
Yeah.
has shown that if ever you were once more serious, you're going back to your comedic roots, and if that is what creatively brings you joy, then that is what you should do. It's certainly one of my principles.
I might as well rename the podcast. This
But you
is comedy.uk.
oh .uk, I love it. Yeah.
Okay, that was Michael David Wilson talking about Daddy's Boy. Go pre-order it right now. If you haven't already, do it now. And then go pre-order Say Uncle by Ryan C. Bradley while you're at it. That's the next book by Ghoulish Books. It is a lot of fun. The new theme song from the podcast was created by Taylor Fox. She has a great band called Great Hag. Highly recommend Great Hag. They have one album out right now. It's fucking dope. I love the album. I love the theme song she came up with. It's cool. Everything is cool. You are cool. The universe is cool. This podcast is okay.